Out of the Blue Woad was a 3-year project bringing together organisations in 2 cities, Brighton in the UK and Amiens in France. Woad is a plant whose leaves provide a blue dye. In medieval times, the plant was grown in southern England and in France, particularly in the region of the Somme, where it is still grown. Led by the Métropole d'Amiens, the Out of the Blue Woad project was comprised of a broad partnership of museums, libraries, contemporary art galleries, institutions of higher education and cultural organisations, all concerned with the environment and social inclusion. This collaborative project has resulted in a series of exhibitions, fashion shows, artists' residencies, conferences and development opportunities. For this film, we've selected some highlights from the project. Taking Woad as a starting point, an extraordinary series of exhibitions have explored its wider meanings and contexts. These exhibitions have reached many thousands of people. At Fabrica in Brighton, Finnish artist Kaarina Kaikkonen created 2 new works using clothes donated by people in the city, which were then donated to charity. In the gallery, the Blue Route was seen by more than 32,000 people. One visitor commented that it was a unique and powerful work in a unique and powerful space. Close to 1,000 people took part in related events, including a multi-sensory exhibition tour for the visually impaired and a discussion group aimed at older people. The second piece, entitled Time Passing By, in which a clock tower in the centre of the city was adorned with clothes, was seen, it is estimated, by more than 250,000 people. 2 residencies took place during these exhibitions, including one by Brighton artist Stig Evans, exploring the colour blue. Stig was later invited to make work for the Art Cities Landscape Festival in Amiens, organised by the Maison de la Culture. At Hove Museum, part of the Royal Pavilion and Museums Group in Brighton, Into the Blue explored blue in nature for a family-friendly exhibition that reached more than 46,000 visitors, with many more thousands taking part in related events. In Amiens, at the Musée de Picardy, the exhibition Caritas took St Martin's act of charity in giving his cloak to a beggar as the departure point to explore charity and sharing, using items from the museum collection and contemporary works. Off-site locations for the exhibition, amongst them a church and the law courts, were chosen as representing different forms of power. The exhibition, which was co-curated by staff members from the University of Brighton, was seen by around 15,000 visitors. At the Bibliothèque Louis Aragon, for the exhibition Le Bleu et la Woad, Regards Croisés, the library team worked with the Musée de Picardy and Hove Museum to produce an exhibition of 15 panels exploring the history of Woad and the role of blue in art and nature. The panels were exhibited at the library, the musée, and in 3 other libraries across the city. This and a later exhibition exploring the rich heritage of velvet making in and around the city was seen by thousands of visitors. University of Brighton and University de Picardy Jules Verne collaborated on a symposium on the subject of Woad, and groups of students from each of the universities worked together to produce textiles using Woad as a dye, art pieces for exhibition, and clothes for a fashion show that took place both in Brighton and Amiens in very different but equally dramatic settings. care co-ops in Brighton works to support socially marginalised people in the city, and for this project they worked with a group of 39 service users over 6 months to grow woad, dye fabrics and create work. Learning skills they could then use to teach others at a series of open workshops attended by 248 people. Woad also featured in the gardens created by landscape artists for the Arts Cities Landscape Festival, organised by the Maison de la Culture in Amiens. For the festival, both artists and landscapers are invited to create work on the extraordinary floating islands of Les Hautes-Tonnage. Over the last 3 years, the festival has been enjoyed by approximately 100,000 visitors. For the festivals from 2012 to 2014, British artists were proposed by the Brighton partners. This included, in 2014, Alina Azadeh, who had explored ideas of altruism and charity during a residency at Fabrica as part of another Woad project exhibition. She was then commissioned by the Musée de Picardy to make a dual-site piece of work, which she called All Is Not Lost. The pieces were installed in the museum and on l'Île Perdue as part of the festival. Out of the Blue Woad was an extraordinary project that has had a major impact at every level, from the individuals and institutions involved to the hundreds of thousands of visitors that experienced aspects of it. Everyone has walked away enriched by this project, and the repercussions will be felt for years to come in new projects, new partnerships, different ways of thinking and working, and most importantly, greater social inclusion.